The second thing that you want to do when setting up your Laser Costing Pro is to set up your laser costing, also referred to as your cost per minute or your rand per minute, or whatever currency you are currently working in. And this is probably one of the most asked about questions about laser costing out there, and very seldom people give you a good answer. So let's get into how we work out our costing of our machine and our equipment per minute. We'll click on the green tab, which is laser costing. In this tab, it makes provision for fixed costs, electricity, service and maintenance, and labor. In our fixed costs, this is where we enter in the price of our machinery. Let's say that I've bought a 90,000 Rand laser, and included in that was the compressor. Let's say I bought a chiller for 15,000 and I bought a rotary for 7,500. That gives me an average rand per hour of 11 Rand 25. How that is calculated: it is the total cost of the machinery depreciated over a 3-year period, meaning that the entire machine and all machinery bought must be repaid over a 3-year period of about 200 days a year at 6 hours a day to give you a good price per minute. The next thing you do is you put in your electricity costs. So for the laser and the compressor, I've got 1000 watts. The chiller, I've got 1500 watts. I've got a CW 5200. If you've got a bigger one, then you need to look on the little block on the back at what its usage is and put that in. I put my electricity in at 3 Rand a unit, because you know the electricity varies anything from 1 Rand 80 up to like 2 Rand 60 depending on where you are. So I decided to just work on a flat 2 Rand per minute. If your laser was using a lot more power, your laser, and maybe you got a bigger compressor on there and it was using 1500 watts, you could put that in there as well, and you'll see it changes your cost per minute. Very important is your service and maintenance. So you have probably every now and again you need to get a maintenance guy out to come and maintain your machine. And if you're not getting a guy out to come and maintain your machine, you actually have to have your machine off and do the maintenance yourself. So make sure that you've got some money placed aside here for your service and maintenance for the year. Over here we have our things like our belts, our bearings. Very important. We use a lot of lube and we use a lot of degreaser. Put that in so that you can make provision for that cost as well. And then the biggest factor that affects our rand per minute is our labor, because we have to have a human being watching that machine. And if your labor cost is 250 Rand an hour, it needs to be in there, and you'll see that has a massive effect on the rand per minute, because we cannot have the laser machine running by itself. As for a setup fee, I don't like charging a setup fee separate on my quotes. It scares customers away. I personally work the setup fee into my cost per minute, and then I don't charge it separately on the quote. Most people are charging between 100 and 150 Rand a minute. I'm going to work on I'm paying my laser technician or my graphics designer 200 Rand an hour, which puts my total labor costs, setup and labor, at 300 Rand an hour. It gives me 5 Rand 44 a minute. So that gives you a good ballpark of where you should be pricing yourself. Now this rand per minute, it gets pulled through to all the calculations that are done on this page. This page uses the information input by you on the material costs, and it uses the information input by you on the laser costing. It works out the area in a millimeter squared and times that by converts that then to a time, and that time is multiplied by the rand per minute that you got here, giving you a total selling price for an item, depending on what material you are using.